Chapter 1. A glimpse behind the mask. Narcissistic Personality Disorder. It's a term we often hear, sometimes used loosely, other times with a sense of condemnation. But behind the word lies a complex and often misunderstood mental health condition. Narcissism is not just about being self-centered or vain. It is a deep inner struggle with one's sense of self-worth, a feeling of insecurity and vulnerability that is often hidden behind a facade of superiority and grandiosity. Imagine a person who lives in a constant state of uncertainty about their own value. Inside, they may feel fragile, as if their sense of self-worth could shatter at any moment. For many with narcissistic personality disorder, this is their reality. They wrestle with feelings of inadequacy, shame, and a fear of abandonment. These painful emotions are often buried beneath defense mechanisms such as excessive confidence, a need for constant validation, and an apparent inability to empathize with others. When we understand this complexity, we can approach narcissism with greater compassion and understanding, perhaps creating a space for healing. Chapter 2. A woven story. The causes of narcissistic personality disorder are many and complex. It's not just one thing that leads to the development of NPD. Childhood experiences often play a major role. Imagine a child growing up without the love and care they need. Perhaps they learn that love is conditional, something only given if they perform or meet the needs of others. Such experiences can leave deep scars on their sense of self. But childhood is only part of the puzzle. Genetics and environment also play a role. We live in a culture that often values self-promotion and individualism, which can unintentionally reinforce narcissistic traits. Chapter 3. The connection with complex trauma. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder often arises from repeated, prolonged traumas, especially in childhood. A child growing up in a home marked by violence or emotional abuse learns to navigate a world filled with uncertainty. This constant pressure on the child's developing mind and body can have profound consequences, and for some, it can lead to the development of personality disorders, like narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissistic defense mechanisms can develop as a way to protect themselves from further pain. Chapter 4. From victim to aggressor. Imagine a child growing up with a narcissistic parent, a parent who uses the child to fulfill their own need for admiration and control. Love is conditional, and the child learns that they are only worthy of love if they meet the parent's demands. This deep sense of shame and unworthiness can follow the child into adulthood and lead to the development of narcissistic traits as a defense mechanism to avoid pain and rejection. Chapter 5. How trauma distorts self-perception. For those who have experienced prolonged trauma, self-perception can become fragmented. It can feel like looking at oneself in a distorted mirror, constantly oscillating between feeling worthy and unworthy. Some try to compensate for this inner chaos by constructing an outward image of grandiosity, a defense mechanism that protects against feelings of shame and inadequacy. Chapter 6. Nature and nurture. NPD often develops through a complex interplay of nature and nurture. Genetic predispositions can influence an individual's vulnerability, but the environment plays a crucial role. It's a combination of how you were born and how you were raised. Chapter 7. The role of family dynamics. Family dynamics play a significant role in the development of NPD. A child who is constantly praised and put on a pedestal may develop an inflated sense of self-worth. On the other hand, a child who is constantly criticized and feels inadequate may struggle with deep shame and unworthiness. Chapter 8. Genetic factors. Genetics can play a role in the development of NPD. Just as we inherit physical traits, we can also inherit a tendency towards certain personality traits. But this doesn't mean that someone will inevitably develop NPD. The environment is also a critical factor. Chapter 9. Behind the mask. For many with NPD, every interaction feels like a performance, a carefully planned act designed to gain recognition and avoid condemnation. Behind the mask of confidence and superiority often lies a deep sense of insecurity and vulnerability. Chapter 10. The burden of shame. Shame is a powerful emotion and can be a constant companion for individuals with NPD. This feeling may stem from early experiences where their need for unconditional love and acceptance was not met. To cope with this shame, they often build defense mechanisms to protect themselves from further pain. Although people with Narcissistic Personality Disorder often appear reserved or self-centered, they long for connection just like anyone else. However, their fear of vulnerability often sabotages their attempts to form genuine relationships. For many with Narcissistic Personality Disorder, seeking help is difficult because it requires admitting their vulnerability. The defense mechanisms that have protected them throughout life can become a barrier to healing. Chapter 13. The importance of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share another person's feelings. For individuals with NPD, it can be challenging to connect with others' emotions, but this doesn't mean they are bad people. Rather, it's a result of their own emotional vulnerabilities. Chapter 14. The journey toward healing. Healing from NPD is a long process that requires courage, patience, and support. Therapy plays a crucial role in this journey, gradually teaching them to let go of their defense mechanisms and embrace vulnerability. Chapter 15. Understanding and compassion. It's easy to get caught up in the outward behavior and react with frustration. But behind the mask often lies a person filled with pain and a longing for love and acceptance. Approaching NPD with understanding and compassion doesn't mean tolerating harmful behavior, but it can provide a new perspective on what drives this behavior. Chapter 16, Support for Healing. The path to healing from NPD is possible, but requires a supportive environment. If you know someone with NPD, it's important to set healthy boundaries and encourage them to seek professional help. Healing begins with reaching out and asking for help. Thank you for watching. Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel, as it will help me reach more people like you. Namaste.